Hey family, it's Cassandra. I wanted to shoot a quick video to kind of keep us engaged as we get ready for our family reunion in now 2021. And I know that everybody's dealing with the coronavirus. No crystal ball jokes right now. Hadn't had my hair cut in over a month. But I wanted to invite Christopher Smothers on and ask him a few questions about genealogy. And hopefully we can do this for maybe three or four more times, interviewing different guests so that we can learn more about our family. Hope you enjoy. This is Cassandra, and I am with Christopher Smothers of Unearthing Your Roots. He is a genealogist in Atlanta, and we're going to talk to him a little bit about what he does and how he can help us. So, hey, Chris, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and your business?
Okay. I've been doing research for about 10 years now, and that passion originally started when I was trying to find my maternal grandmother's biological grandparents on her dad's side, and it seems that oral history was not, revealing itself on that side, and she just only knew certain things about certain people. So I said, Grandma, we got to figure this out. This has to exist somewhere. The government has been doing their job documenting the lives of people. Um, so I went to the archives and attempted to do this research journey. It was a little bit more difficult than I anticipated. And
Mm-hmm.
several months, I went to a local library to do research and discovered that there was a lady there that was willing to help me kind of lay the foundation for good, solid research that you can prove exhaustively. So after that, I formed a nonprofit organization, helping people from all different backgrounds and cultures to kind of get an idea of the different issues minorities face specifically when doing genealogical research. And then I decided to go for profit when I realized that I had to fund my education and pay
That's a good
bills.
reason. Why is it important, do you think, for families to learn more about their family history?
um, I know for me personally, it was an identity question. Um,
Hmm.
being a part of a minority group, um, you discovered that there's an identity, paradigm that I feel we have uh, struggled with as a people in certain ways, and just
Hmm.
tactively knowing where you come from and doing ancestry research kind of helps you understand who contributed to your DNA and
Hmm.
what the stock is consisting of that you come.
Hmm. Okay, I agree with that because I know that my family is a huge, huge family, and without knowing kind of like how all those pieces fit together, I think everyone's just had these questions, especially a lot of the older generations. They know they've heard about different people in our family, and they just don't have any answers, because they couldn't put those pieces together. So
Right.
I know that's one of the main reasons, it's really important to me is trying to put those pieces back together.
Mm.
Your thoughts on family reunions? Because our family was trying to have one this year and we ended
Mhm.
up having to cancel. But how does family reunions kind of impact, or, what do you think about them?
I think if you go back to the original purpose of family reunions, they were to give the entire family an opportunity to kind of come back together.
Mm-hmm.
Were scattered and remember who they came from.
Mm-hmm.
You make uh, T-shirts and different uh, pamphlets and have different events that kind of help you kind of get to know each other, especially after the Great Migration. A lot of people moved to Chicago and LA,
Mm-hmm.
California, New York, and so forth. So family reunions are incredibly important just to understanding that there are people that exist that you are related to.
Right.
One point, you were all in a central location, um,
Mm-hmm.
and now they have pursued their own careers and gone on with their life. But it's just important to uh, get back together with your people to
Mm-hmm.
on each other, honestly. Um, because at the end of the day, our family is the core component of who we are. You know, it impacts us from childhood, whatever
Mm-hmm.
whatever capacity that may be. So family
Right.
are incredibly important.
Right. I agree. I know that to me it brings a sense of belonging. And sometimes people are out there, they don't know that they have family here or there. We actually have one of our family members. He was kind of like all by himself, he thought. And then he realizes, oh, shucks, I got like 600 new family members right now as we've been building our
Yeah.
family tree. So it's kind of like it brings a sense of belonging and people can come together and kind of see. I've actually looked at a number of pictures on both sides of our family tree, and there are people like on my dad's side of the branch that look just like people on another side of the branch, you know, and it's so eerie to see that. And so I really want to get them all together so they can be like, oh yeah, you do look just like me.
Yeah, part of that comes from the endogamous communities a lot of our ancestors lived in.
Hmm. And what do you mean by that?
Um, so when you start to look through your DNA matches, you may find that your second cousin or third cousin also matches to your other cousin on a completely different side of the family, which means that
Hmm.
if you go back further enough, you realize that in the process of the transatlantic slave trade, we were taken from the same villages in Africa. So, like coming here, we were already
Hmm.
related.
Yeah.
Continue to be fruitful in that capacity. And
Hmm.
okay, well, all right, we're double cousins.
Yeah, 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 it's been happening.
Exactly,
uh,
exactly.
and I hope this family reunion we have will kind of keep that from happening any longer because people will now know, you know what, hey, this
Right, be
family is
aware.
huge. We really gotta, you know, make sure,
Yeah,
ask some questions. Um, so you've been a genealogist for how long?
10 years, yeah.
10 years?
Mhm.
What are the benefits for families to hire genealogists?
Oh man, that's a really good question. Okay, so um, no matter who you are, you will encounter a brick wall at some point. Um,
Hmm.
and hiring a genealogist helps you shed all of the fluff in your tree, all of the duplicate people you may have, all of
Hmm.
uh, uh, speculations you have that don't necessarily have concrete proof and evidence
Hmm.
for it. Hiring a genealogist will help you um, kind of create a solid foundation for the research that you've done.
Hmm.
Will implicate further research to be done in the future, depending on your objective.
Yeah. Okay. And by brick wall, that is.
So the brick wall is, for instance, for minorities, it usually involves some form of immigration. So
Mhm.
the brick wall for us might be slavery. Prior to 1870, black
Mhm.
people were enumerated, but they were not enumerated by name. They were only enumerated by their age and their sex, and
Right.
maybe a complexion. You know.
Mhm.
However, a genealogist will help you get past that brick wall and help you look at records that do implicate our names on them in the conveyance records
Mhm.
and different forms of records that you'll find our names in.
Okay. All right. Well, I appreciate you coming and talking to me. I didn't want to take too much of your time, but
No, it's
I
okay.
did want to ask one more question. What did you find for our family? Because I know that I asked you to kind of look into Peter Massey, who's at the top
Mhm.
of our food chain, basically. But what did you find for our family in particular?
Um, okay, I wasn't prepared for that one. Let's see. Hold on.
I think it was Julia Massey's will
Oh
that you might
yes,
have dug
yes, yes.
up.
I located a an 1870 census that I believe had Julia and her kids on it, but there was
Okay.
male in the household. So right now the question is
Yeah.
what happened to him?
What happened to him?
The
Absolutely.
next thing I would do is look at service records for the Civil War, see if he was in the Civil War and maybe
Mm-hmm.
in the Civil War or got sick or was, is still in some form of military service. That's
Right.
the thing I would do. And just to get an idea of like how old was he really? And
Mm-hmm.
did any of his relatives serve in the war that maybe they testified on his behalf for a pension, or, I
Mm-hmm.
at least start there and look at property records and Civil War records as well.
Right. And the only way we know about Peter is because on some of the death certificates of
Hmm.
his children, they listed
Right,
him as their father. So
right,
that's how we know that there is a Peter, but
right.
nothing else.
And
Yeah.
notice the majority of those kids are born prior to the Civil War.
Yep.
So that suggests that, okay, maybe something happened to him in the Civil War.
Right, right. That's what I was thinking too. Well, thank you, Chris, so much. I really
Absolutely.
appreciate it. And you take care.
Okay, you too.